Selling on Etsy safely means more than just setting up an account and listing items. It means understanding the platform's policies and guidelines laid out for us in the House Rules section of the Seller Handbook. However, even if you're following all of Etsy's specific rules, there are actually additional laws related to selling online that you may not be aware of. And breaking some of these laws can land you in big legal trouble. For anyone who may be new here, my name is Starla Moore, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And as someone who spends 99% of my time working within the Etsy creative space, I can't tell you how frequently I come across sellers who are unknowingly breaking laws related to privacy, deceptive sales tactics, and the general mislabeling of products, which can obviously result in huge legal consequences and fines. Let's discuss some of the ways I commonly see Etsy sellers breaking the law so that you can avoid these tactics and stay safe online. Running a sale in your Etsy shop is an awesome way to attract attention, celebrate a holiday, or even clear old inventory. However, what many sellers don't realize is that raising prices in order to host a sale is actually against the law. In the US, sales, promotions, and coupons fall under the jurisdiction of the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC. And according to the FTC's website, the FTC considers it deceptive to offer an item for sale at a higher price for a short period of time in order to support a claim that the item is discounted when the price is then lowered. On Etsy, I recommend pricing products within the top 10% of your industry, with any future sales and discounts already in mind at the point of pricing your products. This will ensure that you're making the most of every sale, while still having a pricing structure that's flexible enough to occasionally host special promotions from time to time. Speaking of sales, have you ever seen sellers who leave their shops on sale all the time? As you've probably guessed already, this is another big FTC no-no, falling under fictitious pricing. According to the FTC guidelines, perpetually advertising something as being on sale qualifies as fraudulent marketing and can lead to huge legal repercussions if you're caught. In fact, you may remember this happening to major retailer JCPenney several years ago, which led to the brand paying out around $50 million to settle in court. Remember, sales should be fun, spontaneous, and used as a way to promote sales when you need them most. So if you want to run a perpetual sale, just be sure to swap out which items are on sale, rather than leaving your entire shop on sale at all times. When someone places an order in your shop, you may notice their email address attached to that order. And if you have an email list, this may sound like a great way to grow your audience with past customers who have already shown interest in your products. But unfortunately, adding individuals to an email list without their permission is against the law in many areas. In Canada, the Canadian anti-spam law states that you can only contact people who have given their explicit consent to be contacted. In Europe, both the e-privacy directive as well as GDPR laws state that the use of an individual's email for direct marketing purposes is lawful only if that individual gave his or her prior consent. And in the United States, the laws become a little looser with no real restrictions on adding someone to your list without consent. However, your emails must provide a clear opt-out at the bottom where the person can unsubscribe. And the email must list your physical postal address at the bottom or a P.O. box. If you have an email list, the best way to get subscribers on that list is by offering the option to them. On Etsy, you're allowed to place a link to join your email list within your shop and listings, or even on printouts within your physical packages when they're shipped. Etsy is loaded with amazing toys and handcrafted plushies that make amazing gifts. However, while these items are okay to sell on Etsy, they cannot be marketed for children. In the US, the Consumer Product Safety Commission holds strict guidelines on items created for children, stating that all toys intended for use by children 12 years of age and under must be third-party tested and be certified in a children's product certificate as compliant to the federal toy safety standard enacted by Congress. Remember, these laws exist for the reason of keeping children safe, so be sure to do your research and get your products tested by an official CPSC accepted laboratory before listing them. If you sell consumable items such as baked goods, jams and jellies, dry mixes, popcorn, or nuts. It's important to understand laws within your local area about the sale of food online. In the US, every state has different laws and regulations when it comes to the online sale of food items. However, here are a few universal requirements that any food-related business can expect in order to legally operate. Yearly kitchen inspections from your local health department, even when running the business from your home. Zoning permits from your local or state government. A state business license. A pet-free and pest-free clean kitchen environment, and proper sanitary storage of all cold and dry ingredients. For more information about selling food online from your home, you can typically reach out to your local health department for additional information related to your area. When it comes to items marketed as being all natural, we typically assume that these items are good for us, whether they be food, cosmetic, or even candles. However, according to the FDA, items listed as being all natural must genuinely be 100% natural. In other words, all natural or 100% natural means just that. No artificial ingredients or chemicals. So when labeling an item as all natural, be sure to double check with each of your suppliers to ensure that your products truly are made with 100% natural ingredients. The last law on today's list is the big one, and it's the one that I see most commonly broken on Etsy. But before we dive in, I just wanted to take a quick second to mention that I'll be accepting new students into my Etsy coaching program starting on June 14th, and only for 10 days. The Handmade Alpha Academy is my 9-module training program that teaches sellers how to build, market, and grow dominant brands on Etsy step by step. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, we focus on defining your ideal target customer and effectively targeting them through proven psychological triggers. In fact, we're currently the only Etsy course in the world built on a foundation of proven data and neuromarketing, which is why we have over 1,500 students, many of whom run their businesses full-time. And this season, we're offering major incentives to new students, including 1 year of eRank Pro, annual access to our Alpha Holiday Bootcamp, and the Product Photography Essentials Workshop by Coach Christina Nicole. Not to mention, HAA includes a 30-day, zero questions asked money-back guarantee. If you get inside and don't absolutely love the program, we'll refund you in full. Though the program is self-paced and students have lifetime access, limited registration only takes place from June 14th through June 24th. So if this sounds like something that you may be interested in checking out for your own business, be sure to visit the link up here or down below to check out our success stories and the class curriculum. Okay, back to business. If you guessed that copyright and trademark violations would take the cake for #1 law broken on Etsy, you'd be correct. And I know I've covered this before a whole lot, but in case you're new to my channel, here's a speed round recap. You cannot legally sell anything from movies, television, books, music, celebrities, video games, or famous characters of any sort unless they're in the public domain or if you have purchased a license to sell them. Buying a Disney fabric to make a craft with is not the same as possessing a resale license, and the first sales doctrine only covers purchases that you made for the fabric, as that was the first sale. You are not authorized to resell these items. Creating fan art of a character does not authorize you to profit from that character's likeness, even when you've done so in a style that is completely your own. And yes, I know that there are a ton of sellers out there who violate these laws, but just as many sellers get shut down for it. In fact, it's one of the most common emails that I see in my public inbox. And when it happens, I always have to tell these sellers that they're out of luck, because this isn't an Etsy rule. It's the law. And if you're shut down for this reason, Etsy won't reinstate your account. The best way to stay safe online is to only list original concepts or designs that you've created yourself, or to create products based on works within the public domain, or to obtain licensing from the IP holder, something that you can typically only do with a small IP such as books and indie games. While it may seem like Etsy isn't doing anything about sellers who violate their rules, they are. You just don't hear about these cases as much because sellers who are breaking Etsy's rules, or worse, the law, aren't quick to be honest about why they were suspended in open forums and online spaces. But as someone with a bit of a bird's eye view perspective on the seller community, I see it happening every single day. And hopefully with this video, you can ensure that you're doing everything right in order to build a business with longevity and sustainability. Until next time, Pookie.